Hi, this is Michael Chow, and in this screencast, I want to go through 3 ways to submit a PR or a pull request on GitHub. If you're contributing to code on GitHub, odds are you're using pull requests, especially if you're working with a group of people. So the 3 ways I'll go through are the GitHub interface, command line using the shell, and last but not least, the GitHub desktop client, or this nice kind of visual tool. So here I have this example project pulled up. This is created on an organization I'm a part of, Code for Philly. So this is the example project repo. And notice it has 2 files in it that you might want to change. Oftentimes on a project, you can't change the project itself. So oftentimes you wouldn't be able to change this stuff right here on Code for Philly. Often what you have to do is fork it. So I'm going to go ahead and click and fork it so that it's on my personal account, MA Chow. And notice that everything's the same except for the link. So it created an exact duplicate of the project. I'm going to go ahead and open up also the Code for Philly version again. And we'll go through making a simple change. All right, so I've got on the right is the MA Chow version, or the forked version, and on the left is the original. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is here I'm just going to click the edit button to make a change, and then I'll just do something simple. I am a change, nice, and then I'll commit it. So now I've edited it on MA Chow. It's worth noting too, actually, if you want to do something like do multiple files, you can drop whole folders in. So I could drop this in and it would actually upload it. All right, so these are the changes I've made. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click pull requests and then new. All right, so here the key is to notice that this says base repository, so this is the place I'll be pushing my changes to, or say merging my changes to. And then head repository, this is where the changes are coming from. So I made the changes on MA Chow, and then I want to move them to Code for Philly. All right, and this shows the changes that were made. So I'm going to click create pull request, and usually you want to write a nice message here for people to see. And then notice it says, okay, these changes are coming from MA Chow and they're going to Code for Philly. Now, if I'm on the Code for Philly repo, I can click pull request. See, there's this one notification that pops up. And then here are the changes I submitted. And I can go ahead and click merge pull request to merge it in. A key to be aware of, notice that it says there are no conflicts. You want to be really careful about changing things that other people might change. If you make changes to something that someone else has made changes to in the meantime, you have to sort of reconcile it. So what that means is if someone went in here and they changed this and they also added something, we might need to figure out how to combine these changes. So notice that it checked and it says, okay, now we have a conflict that we can't resolve. So that's a problem. What you have to do is click resolve conflicts, and then you have to figure out what do you want to keep and what do you want to throw away. So maybe let's say this change is the one we want to keep. So we'll do this, and then it's ready to merge again. All right, so sorry, this is a little bit small. Let me make this bigger. Then mark is resolved. All right. This is not a great strategy, or there's some risk, you want to make sure to communicate so that you're not sort of blasting someone else's results. But then we can go ahead and merge it. So notice this is actually on the Code for Philly repo now, the PR. Let's go ahead and merge this. All right. So we've merged. And now notice on the example project, the changes there. All right. So that's how to do it on the GitHub interface. One other thing to keep in mind is that this will keep existing on your personal account. So even as people keep making changes to the other project, to this Code for Philly project, you're still going to have this fork, and that means it'll get out of date. So notice it says, oh, this is one commit behind Philly master. I could keep making changes, and it will say, okay, now you're 2 commits behind, 3 commits behind, and so on. So if I reload, it's saying this fork is actually getting out of date. There are 2 ways you can handle this. One is you could actually just blow the whole fork up. So go down and actually delete it. This is fine because if you just want to submit the one PR, right, you might as well delete the repo and then fork it again later if you have to submit new changes. The other is that you might do a pull request from the main repo to your fork. And so notice that, again, this is going from your fork to the main repo. What you might want to do is say, actually, I want it to come from the main repo. Then you have to click this, compare across forks again, into my project. And then this will go ahead and actually bring it up to date. So bring up to date. All right, so now your fork is up to date with the main repository. I'm kind of a fan of blowing up the fork so that you don't have to keep doing stuff like this. All right, so the other strategy is command line. So how this works is you might take this project and clone it. So go here, click code and this, and do git clone. This whole approach assumes that you have it set up to git clone from the command line. I'll post some resources on how to do that in the description. And then I can go into the project. So example project, let me make this bigger. And then I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. And notice now, so I'll use Vim to make changes to the README. New change 3. I don't know why the number 3 is there. I'll do git status, git add, README, and then a commit new change. That's not a very good message. That's just how it is. So the one trick is that, so this is if I have access to the repo, then I could do git push. The other problem though is that if I don't have access to the repo, again, I'll probably need to do the forking strategy. So I'll actually want to clone my fork and do these changes. Another thing you can do though is if I go here, I can add it as a remote. So let's say git remote add fork and then this address. And now if I list my remotes, notice that now the fork is MA Chow and origin is Code for Philly. So what this means is I can do git push fork this branch. Oh no. So it's behind the fork. So I'm gonna pull fork. Or actually, what I'll do is you can either do pull or I'm gonna git push fork force, which is not always ideal. This will actually just overwrite it with what I have. So that push to MA Chow. So now we have new change 3, and then I can either submit the PR through this interface, right? So I can do another pull request and open it to Code for Philly here. If I do have writing access to Code for Philly, I could though just push to origin, and that will update the code for Philly branch. Again, it depends what you have access to, but this is the general strategy, is if you don't have access to it, you need to add your fork as a remote. All right, so that's using the command line. The last strategy is through GitHub Desktop. So the way I'll do this is I'll create a repository from the internet, and then I'll go to the Code for Philly repository. I'm going to click here to this link again. I'm actually going to use, I think HTTPS, just for fun. You could do either. So, I'm going to name this example project 2. I think I have a copy of this already created. Notice this one's being created in documents. All right, and then I think what should happen is GitHub should show me a prompt here in a second. So I'll make a change. All right. Oh. It seems bad because it's not. Try fetching. All right. So. Okay. So let's go here. Let's add another change. Okay, and then what should happen, notice that now it says, hey, you actually can't write to this project. The reason is I'm actually on a test account that doesn't have access to Code for Philly. So it says, do you want to create a fork instead? All right, so I'll create a fork. Fork this repository. And then if you want to contribute to this project, Code for Philly example project, click this. That seems great. All right, so update README, make the commit. Great. And then I can push to origin. All right. So note, now that's a fork. There's one challenge here, which is, let's see. Let's get rid of this file here that we're not using. So, okay. So now if I want to merge my changes into the Code for Philly repo, the original one, I should be able to click, I think, let's see, this one? Nope. Oh, wait, that's not the right direction. Yeah, ideally it should let me merge this. Let's see if I do like feature branch. I create a new branch. Okay. Now let's try to maybe see if we can. Oh, and then I have to maybe delete this branch right here. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, that's too bad. I think let's try to make another change and see if we can maybe do something. Change again. All right. And then maybe now, because I noticed before. Okay, so it looks like yeah, I guess the desktop doesn't really work super well with this, but what we were able to do is we were able to push it to the forked repo. So if we go to /mhow-test, that's the account that I used. Notice that GitHub created this fork for us and let us push our changes here. So I could open a pull request this way. I guess that's how it works. It seems like the desktop maybe has a bug or isn't super good at this type of thing. I was hoping it would let us merge from here, open this pull request, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So you could open it like this, and then notice this is the same as what we did in the first technique, and then click create pull request. The benefit here is that you can keep using this thing, right? If it's helpful for doing updates, I think it will list your pull request maybe Let's see. Yep. So you can see your pull requests are open, things like that. So maybe that's a useful strategy for you. Maybe you prefer just using the website, or maybe you're comfortable with the command line. These are all different techniques you can use to do the same thing. So thanks for watching. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions about making PRs, I think this is really important for people to learn and can also be really hard to do for the first time. So I'm happy to help out in the comments or find resources to make it easier. Thanks.